The saying goes, love can make a person do very strange things. Things that wouldn't be normally done for anybody else. A love letter filled with words of passion and care. A visit halfway across the globe just to be next to the one you love. Living with them, and even birthing a creation in a place you call home. What most people forget is that fear can cause a person to do many strange things. Things that they wouldn't normally do when it comes to a loved one. A letter filled with passion but concern, traveling halfway across the globe just to see if the rumors are true. Are they still alive? And even following up on the words that your lover spoke in their letter for you, that they are ready to become one and to birth a creation in a place you once called home. In the coastal nation of Livber, in the northwest corner of Gaia, stands a proud, tall, and long-forgotten home. Rooted in the cliffs overlooking one of the many seas this nation is surrounded by, one can easily hear the waves crashing against its dark, sandy shores. You stand there, facing what used to be your home 5 years ago. The letter sent to you beckoned you back, promising to see your love once again. But the thing is, she was dead, right? Livber Smoke and Mirrors is an interactive psychological horror story shaped by your choices, one steeped in love, obsession, and madness. Every decision you make, every step you take, will pull you deeper into your own personal insanity. While the official release date is October 28th, 2025, it is possible for you to play a little portion of the game through their free demo, which contains the first act of this ever-maddening story. However, this world of Gaia and this North-West Nation of Livber has so much more to offer than just this story. There are many tales to be told, and some of them I can read to you. Through the InEv Games newsletter, I and others who have subscribed to their mailing list were not only given updates on their game, but also little gifts, which are short stories that encompass the world of Gaia and Livber in particular. I will be reading some of these short stories to you for your enjoyment. But if you want to see these stories yourself, not only read them and follow along with me, but to also see the beautiful artwork that is connected to it, I highly recommend also subscribing to the InEv Games mailing list, which can be found on their website, which I will link in the description below. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, and join me on this little adventure of the Livber Story Collection. Livber Story Collection Number 2, The Porph Hunt. The wind wrapped around the three figures standing by the shallow lake buried deep within Livber. They waited still in the darkness, unmoving. Lyrierria, her skin pale enough to be mistaken for a ghost, leaned over her satchel. As she checked the vials in her bag, the alchemical mixtures clinked softly. The sound stirred a whip. Moonlight caught the deep scar trailing down his cheek as he turned his head. No one knew his real name. That's why they called him Whip. He wore the same tattered clothes he'd worn for years. The leather braces on his arms, cracked and darkened by time, still bore the scent of old hunts. Everyone knew what he got each evening, but none could say whether the scar had truly come from a whip. Delsa turned her blade in her palm with restless fingers. The blade was forged from milk-white steel, its surface alive with thousands of hair-fine veins, a signature of Bacta craftsmanship. The fibrous cord at her waist was tied to metal hooks, each one etched with the same pale striations. It was a special alloy, crafted far away in the island nations beyond the western horizon. Rain trickled down from her tightly bound ponytail, sliding slow across her brow. There was a weight in her chest tonight, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. "So we cut up and sell?" she spoke. "You can have the meat," said Whip, his gaze still fixed on the lake. "It's the mane I'm after. With it, I'll buy my son a grave." His voice trembled on that final word. "What says the buyer? He wasn't too pleased with the last one, you know." Lyrierria took out a vial from her satchel, the one with blue crystals swirling inside, and carefully placed it on the ground. The old man swept the air with his hand. The metal mesh, dusted with almond powder, draped over his shoulder, jingled. "Once he sees the Porph's mane, his ass will fall right off. He won't give a fuck about the meat." Three figures crouched in the brush by the lake, perked up at the sound. The thunder of heavy hooves striking earth rolled toward them. As the surface of the lake rippled in the distance, a flicker of red and turquoise light came through. The Porphs were coming. "Let's begin." Delsa tightened her grip on the hilt of her blade. "One strike," said Whip. He was waiting for the perfect moment to leap from their hiding spot. "Don't hit the mane." The Porphs approaching the lake weren't many in numbers. Even though they lived in herds, these majestic creatures were native to Cardia. They had been brought to Livber on smuggler ships, but when their untamable wild nature turned up, that made them unsellable. They were either killed or released into the swamp-filled inner lands of Livber. Over time, they formed small herds here. The 5 Porphs now stepping through the darkness, coats glowing with a reddish halo, were one of those herds. The bioluminescence in their blood shimmered beneath their skin. Delsa felt a flicker of awe for the creature. For a brief moment, her grip on the blade loosened. The crystal blue vial flying towards the beast caught their eye in the darkness. Lyrierria had hurled the glass bottle towards the Porphs drinking from the lake. The moment it burst against the back of one of the animals, they felt the sharp cold spread through the air. Whip sprang from his spot. He wrapped his arms, covered in protective leather, around the Porph's neck, trying with all his strength to pull the creature's head up toward the rain-firing sky. As soon as he exposed the neck, it would be Delsa's turn. The Porph released a toxic fluid from its skin, and the leather on Whip's arms began to sizzle. The beast thrashed, flinging its hooves, struggling to break free from the arms clinging to its throat. But Delsa was watching the eyes of a Porph calf that had come to the edge of the lake. They were black and hypnotic. The calf would one day grow into a powerful beast. Even now, its thinning skin revealed the glow of the bright blood flowing through its veins. Its mane shifting into thousands of colors with the faintest touch of light. Its innocent face watched its mother's silent struggle. As if it already knew what was to come, it had accepted its fate. The moment the Bactar heard the old man call out to her, she turned her gaze. She leapt onto the beast and drove the blade into its throat. The creature didn't scream. Porphs never scream. A sudden burst of color dazzled her eyes. The red blood, glowing with bioluminescence, streamed from its throat. The mane! Watch the mane! At that moment, the Porph threw Whip aside. Despite the blood pouring from its throat, it tried to run, but reared up as another vial from Lyrierria struck it. When the bottle shattered, a foul stench spread through the air. The beast was dazed. "Delsa!" Lyrierria shouted. "Hit it again!" No, just one blow. Don't harm the mane." Delsa's clothes had nearly dissolved in the Porph's toxic sweat. In the moonlight, the pain on her face was clearly visible. She passed the fibrous cord at her waist around the neck of the rearing, wildly thrashing beast and tightly wrapped it around the hilt of her blade. Then, grabbing the hook at the other end, she threw herself to the ground. When the tip of the hook struck the earth, the beast flinched for a moment. The old man threw the metal net from his shoulder onto the beast. The creature finally collapsed to his knees. At that moment, Delsa looked into its eyes. Its black eyes seemed buried in secrets as ancient as stardust. "Don't look into its eyes," Whip shouted. "Don't look into its eyes. What are you doing?" "Why not?" "Why? In Cardia, they say a single glance lets it show you what's inside you. If you bound with a Porph, there's no coming back. Bring the lantern, quick, we need to take the mane." As Lyrierria moved toward her satchel, Delsa's gaze shifted to the calf. As she handed the lit lantern to Whip, the dead Porph's mane started to shift between colors. There, in the light of the flame, it changed without pause. First amber, then blending into the red of a sunset, then to violet, and finally a green so deep it nearly turned black. The sacred beasts of that faraway island shaped by the winds. What happened? She came to her senses as she felt Lyrierria's hand on her shoulder. "Nothing. I'm wondering what that calf will do now." Whip was sunk in mud up to his knees. When he pulled the dagger from the animal's throat, it trembled slightly. The colors of its mane were beginning to fade. "It'll live, I guess, or maybe in our next hunt, we'll sell its mane to someone. For now, its mane isn't worth much," he said. "What is it? Don't tell me. You feel sorry for them?" "No," said Delsa. "Not at all." Once again, these stories are being sent to those who have subscribed to the InEv Games mailing list. If you want to join me in the eager anticipation for the release of Livber Smoke and Mirrors, as well as follow along with my readings of these short stories, remember to sign up for their newsletter, which will be available in the description below, and wishlist the game Livber Smoke and Mirrors, which will come out in full on October 28th, 2025. Have a lovely night, my lovely starlights.